Hello guys, how y'all doing? Today I didn't go to the gym for my walk. Instead I went to walk on the mountain. Drove about 30 minutes to get to this mountain. I went to walk up there. I'm going to be showing you guys the video of my walking on the mountain on a later video. Today I want to talk to you guys about living in China, because I've been getting some messages from some friends and other people who are interested in knowing what's going on in China and how is it to live over here, and how difficult it is to communicate with local people. So I decided today I'm gonna do my regular push-ups, which I did about 260 push-ups, and then decided to go climb a mountain today instead of going to the gym. So I just came down from the mountain and decided to make this video to talk to you guys about how it is to live in China. And it's gonna be very interesting, it's gonna be a lot of fun, the kind of things we're gonna be discussing on this channel in the very near future. First thing that I'm going to tell you about living in China is make sure that you are a law-abiding person. That's first thing, you know. There's been a lot of misconceptions from people from all around the world about how it is in China, because the system here is not the same system as the rest of the world. So I don't, some of the questions that people ask me, I kind of sometimes like very strange questions sometimes, but for me it's not all that strange, because I remember before I ever stepped foot in China, I also had some of those misconceptions based on the news, the media, the things we get from the news mostly. Then when you come over here and if you really get to hang out with, try to integrate yourself into the system with local people, then you get to know that a huge percentage of what is being put out there is completely not true. So I have lived in quite a few countries around the world before relocating to China, and I can tell you one thing: it is nice. as long as you understand the mindset, the laws, the rules, regulations, you'll be fine. You just basically most of the laws and the rules that are in China, that are in place in China, are basically the same all over the world. The same all over the world. It's just that the difference is that the language, you know, the language. Many people who came to China the first time, you can't read Chinese, you can't read Chinese, you don't know the way the people think, the mindset of the Chinese people goes according to their language, you know, just like English people, or English speaking people, French speaking people, Spanish speaking people, Dutch speaking people. Every people has some kind of uniqueness in their way of life, in the way they interact, based on the language they speak, you know. So one of the first things that you're gonna have to understand is that you must know what are the do's and the don'ts when you get into China. That's first. And to get to know that, you have to have someone to guide you. This is very important. You have to have someone to tell you, this is what you need to do, this is what that is what you need to do. Don't go here, go here. Don't do this. At a certain time, do this. It's basically the same all over the world. Every country, every country, every society have their laws, rules, regulations that guide them. And if you are able to know from the beginning that these are the things you are not supposed to do, and these are the places you're not supposed to go, these are things you are not supposed to say, you'll be fine. You would actually, it would be fun. It would be a lot of fun for you, you know, having to do things in a different language, having to see different way that people here interact, and some of this stuff we're gonna discuss them in later videos extensively. Gonna show you a lot of things. I'll hit the streets sometimes. I'll be on the road. I'll talk to people. I'll sit down with some people and have interviews. It's gonna be a whole lot of things, because I believe I've heard some other guys talk about their experiences in China and what they experience, and all that, but I think to really have the unique, authentic Chinese experience, you have to know, you have to be associating with Chinese people themselves. When I talk about Chinese people, I'm not just talking about Chinese faces who were born and raised in the US, or went to the US when they were kids, or who were, you know, like overseas Chinese citizens, overseas Chinese. No, I'm talking about authentic. I mean, well, overseas Chinese are also authentic, but I'm talking about Chinese people who were born here, raised here, probably haven't traveled outside of the borders of China, except maybe for Hong Kong or Macau, which I still consider to be China. You know? So, of course, China, Hong Kong and Macau is still China, because it's the same people you see there. So, but someone who has not left the country, the language, the culture for even once. You hang out with these people, you talk to these people, you get to know deeply how Chinese people think and how they see things, the way they see things, because this will give you a very good idea how to relate with them, which is the most important thing. Because if you go to any country, first thing you need to know, because any country you go to, there are people there. That country belongs to people, and those people, if you cannot communicate with them, if you cannot deal with them, then you're just gonna be like what, hanging out in the country without talking to anybody. I mean, we are humans, are social animals, and everywhere you go, you have to socialize. So going to any country, the first thing you need to try to learn is how to communicate with people, whether you speak the language or not. How to deal with the people, the likes and the dislikes. When you master this, or even get to know a little bit about this, then you can proudly say, I know this or that about China. But we're going to discuss this extensively, in all the future videos, and also talk about how important the exercise is in the life of Chinese people, and how they exercise. And you see people here telling you they are fat, and you look at them and you don't see any part of their body that is fat. So Chinese people take fitness. When I talk about fitness, I'm not talking about the gym. I mean, they take their health very, very seriously. But we're gonna talk more about it, and other stuff, and many other stuff we're gonna talk about. The first time when you come into this country, it feels like everything looks different. Everything is completely different from what it is that you are accustomed to. For those of you who live in the Western countries, and the first time is going to be a bit challenging, especially if you don't speak the language. But as you get to know the system, the way the people operate, the way their mind works, then it will start getting easier. But if you can learn to speak the language, you'll be fantastic. So first thing is the culture shock. The culture shock is gonna be the first thing to hit you when you get in here, because a lot of things are done differently from how it's done in other countries, especially in the West. Most of the things that we consider to be normal will be abnormal when you get over here. First things first. First thing you need to do is make sure that you find another foreigner who has been living in China and also has learned who has been around the local people, who has learned how the local people think, how to deal with local people, and being in the midst of local people. Because it's not just every foreigner that you can try to take advice from while you're in China. Because I know some foreigners who has been here for 15, 20, 25 years, and they would still sometimes call me to ask my advice on certain situations when they're dealing with local people. So a lot of foreigners will come to China, or maybe in other countries also. They just go around people from the same country as they or other foreigners, and then they all hang out together, do everything together, work, business, everything, every day, hanging out with the same foreigners all the time for 10, 15 years, even though they have maybe they have a few dealings with local people, but not directly and not deep enough to understand how to be able to deal with a local Chinese person. Say for example, a local Chinese person who doesn't speak English, who has never traveled abroad before, who does not know much about outside know anything or much things about outside of China except the things they saw on TV, or and first thing you need to do is find another foreigner who knows the system, and that person must be speaking Chinese, must speak Mandarin, because unless you speak a language, doesn't matter which country you go to, unless you start to understand their language, it's going to be difficult to completely understand their way of thinking. It's going to be difficult to have a meaningful, long-lasting relationship, conversations with a local person, unless you start to understand either they are speaking your language or you speaking their language. But in most cases, it's better you learn their language and speak it. Very helpful. So you find a person who can speak the local language, in this case Mandarin, and let the person coach you. Go under his or her wings and let them coach you, educate you, talk to you, be with you most of the time. And if by any chance you're somewhere that the person is not, you can always call them and say, I have this so situation, what do you think I should do? Or I'm going to so place, what's your suggestion? That's what I did when I came to China the first time, and it worked out really perfectly until I could speak the language and know how to deal with people. And I am among the few foreigners in China who actually could spend a whole month, 2 months without meeting any other foreigner, just hanging out with Chinese people. Sometimes, unless they remind me, I forget that Wagwarian is a foreigner. So sorry. So it's very important to find someone, not just find. If you can find a local Chinese person who can speak your language, whether it's English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, whatever language you speak, it's better you find a local Chinese person that speak your language, and then they can communicate with you and show you the in and outs. But also, it's much better to find a foreigner who knows the system, who understands the language, always hanging out with local people or know the local ways, the local system. It's better to find a foreigner who already knows the system, because this foreigner is going to show you stuff, teach you stuff based on from a foreign point of view, from a foreigner's point of view, rather than a Chinese person. If you don't have this choice of a foreigner who is already integrated into the system, then if your only choice is a Chinese person who understands your language, or who you can speak the same language with, then that's fine. But the ultimate thing to do is get a foreigner who has already been integrated in the system, who can be hanging out with you and advising you on how to get things done, So this is very, very important.